Hey everyone, Road Breach here, and today we're going to be taking a look at The Flash and Speed Buggy. I found this comic when me and my mom were looking for comic backings for my dad's comic book collection. Seriously, if it weren't for Linkara, I would have thought my dad had every comic book on Earth. I ended up getting this because I actually watched the original Speed Buggy cartoon on Boomerang. I also watched Popeye, Yogi Bear, Flintstones, and the Jetsons. I wouldn't consider myself a huge DC fan, or even a big comic book fan in general, but as soon as I saw the name Speed Buggy on the front cover of a comic book, I knew I had to pick it up. So enough running my mouth, let's take a look at the comic itself. The front cover is very well illustrated, with great line work and beautiful coloring. Flash looks determined, confident that he's going to win a race that he's likely won many times before. Speed Buggy is also really determined looking. He's in a full sprint, ready to beat the Flash at his own game. However, Speed Buggy does look pretty uncanny with the visible gum line. Besides that, I really like Speed Buggy's design in this comic. In the background, there are a few other characters I recognize, like Superman, these other iterations of Flash, and who I think might be the Pink Panther, but I can't quite place the other characters in the crowd. As for the actual content, we start off with Flash, aka Wally West, giving us a little monologue whilst being attacked by a sentient building. And no, I am not kidding. This is literally a sentient building. I evacuated everyone in this particular star lab, but it still hasn't stopped every inanimate object from coming at me. There's gotta be some way to shut this sentient skyscraper down before... Ugh! I was going to say before it takes me down, but instead I'll say, ow. I think getting your ass handed to you by a 1,250-foot snake monster would have a reaction a little closer to this.
You and all the other carbon units, how pitiful you are. Fall before the might of Kilgore!
A percentage sign? How do you even pronounce that? Was that a fourth wall break?
Simple. You and die.
You're a riot for a building. You didn't answer my question. But then a brave man comes to the rescue in a supercharged dune buggy that looks very familiar, but we're not there yet, so hold your horses. Need a ride? This is nothing to joke about, dude. Yep, that's how I greet new people. Kilgore is an artificial creature, which means he needs an energy source. So this guy thinks he knows where the energy source is. He barrels through the belly of the beast, and they're right next to the core. The man explains that he used to work in this building before the higher-ups started caring more about profits over safeguards, but Wally unplugs all the coils before he can finish what he was saying. After getting back outside, Flash gets mad at the man because he believes that he was messing with the Speed Force. And by that note, it's time for backstory. The Speed Force is an extra-dimensional energy that powers Flash's abilities. This force was granted via laboratory accident to Barry Allen and Wally West. But the man assures Wally that he doesn't need to worry about it by reminding him that he helped take down Kilgore, and tells him that he invented the dune buggy that helped him harness the Speed Force. We also learn the man's name is Dr. M. Blank. Oh, I see what they did there. You see, in the original cartoon, Speed Buggy was voiced by Mel Blanc, and later in the comic we'll save that for later. But trust me, that's clever. We smash cut to Dr. Blank's lab, where we get to see a lot of impressive looking tech. This place, it's amazing. You really think so? You should have seen my lab when I had actual resources at my disposal. This stuff is just sort of cobbled together. Yeah, no kidding. Flash then asks Dr. Blank how he got here and why he decided to make the dune buggy. To which he says, "The pursuit of science knows no boundaries, Flash. The Omniverse is my playground. Rules, my young friend, are for rubes." I actually had to look up the word rube. Apparently it's a socially awkward or unsophisticated person. For me, that's kind of a weird word choice, but it's probably just me. Wally then gives a pretty moving speech about the fragility of the Speed Force and how most of its users harnessed it organically. And we also get to see a few people who received this ability that a few people could only wish they had. I mean, it's not as desirable as flight, but you get the idea. Then Dr. Blank responds with, "You don't have to tell me. That's why I'm asking you to help test drive my Speed Buggy." Epic foreshadowing! A little later that night, Wally catches up with his girlfriend Linda Park, while still in costume for some reason, and they talk about Dr. Blank and reference an event called Flashpoint. Flashpoint is an event focusing on Barry Allen and the rest of the Flash's family's efforts to fix fissures in time made by unknown forces. It was first mentioned in a 6th issue of Jeff Johns' The Flash, and was later seen in a 5-issue miniseries written by Johns and drawn by Andy Kubert that started in May 2011. I had to shorten up that summary. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure most of you would have clicked off, and this review would be way too long. We then cut to Tinker, Debbie, and Mark doing some work on a car. These characters were the 3 that brought Speed Buggy to life in the original cartoon. But they just feel a little bit shoehorned in, as they don't really affect the plot and barely interact with the titular Speed Buggy at all. It's disappointing to say the least. But now it's time for an epic monologue by Dr. Blank. I should have done this a long time ago. I know why I came here tonight. Because I could die tomorrow during the test run. All the more reason I shouldn't be trying to make up for the mistakes of my past. My daughter Debbie doesn't owe me absolution. The lab is my home now. My experiment is my child. If I keep telling myself that long enough, I might actually believe it. Rest up, kid. Tomorrow, we're going to make history, or outrun it at the very least. The next day, Dr. Blank and Wally go out to what looks like one of the poles for the test drive. But even though Wally's on board for the test, he still shows some concerns because of past events. I want to go on record as saying, I don't want to help you, Doc, but I don't want you to be on your own even less. Duly noted. So, they're off doing the test run, but Flash hears something coming from the buggy's engine. I guess this version of Flash must have supersonic hearing. And sure enough, something bad happens, as Blank and Wally spiral out of control and recreate Flashpoint. I guess this happens because of a flaw in the buggy's design, which then tangles with an earlier statement from Dr. Blank. I used to work here, until upstairs started putting profits ahead of safeguards. I bring this up because it feels like Dr. Blank could have built some sort of test chamber to contain the buggy and effectively prevent the recreation of Flashpoint. I mean, yeah, it would also prevent an integral development in the comic, but it feels like a small little oversight worth addressing. Also, there are times when I feel like the character model in a certain piece of fictional media doesn't make the correct facial expression to fit the situation. And Wally's face right here doesn't seem entirely appropriate for this situation right now. It looks like he's smiling while he's about to come barreling into some rubble on the other side. If it were me in this situation, I don't think I'd be making this face. But hey, what do I know? At this point, Wally knows that this is the point of no return, and flies smack dab into a pile of debris. The buggy does end up on the other side in one piece, but the Doctor is missing, and Wally feels awful for getting roped into this. But as it turns out, the buggy and Dr. Blank have merged. And this is why I find it clever that the Doctor's name is Dr. M. Blank. Because Mel Blanc was the original voice actor for Speed Buggy in the original cartoon, and the Doctor's name is Dr. M. Blank. And since the Doctor merges with the buggy, Dr. Blank's voice is now emanating from the buggy, essentially being an allegory for the character and the voice actor becoming one with each other. Although this page does make my opinion of Speed Buggy's design fluctuate between being smitten and disturbed. But Flash puts 2 and 2 together and deduces that the merging of the buggy and the Doctor did happen. Although he should probably be more freaked out that things have gone the way of the poltergeist. Or the possible Cars live-action reboot.
Hey, wait, why is your shirt different?
Oh, this. We actually had to push filming for another day, so that's why my shirt's different. Sorry for the inconsistency.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. Go ahead, continue.
So the newly created Speed Buggy is in a ferocious state, and tries to ram Flash a few times, but Flash has an idea to snap him out of it. This shouldn't hurt much, like a whap on the nose to get your attention. Sure enough, his plan works, and the Bugster is speaking English. But then, out of nowhere, the evil Savitar makes his appearance, and he tells them that he is responsible for the creation of this oddity of nature and technology. He has 2 4-wheeled buddies of his own, Reverse Speed Buggy and Speed Demon Buggy. Damn, no kidding. He looks like one literal hell of a demon.
The Ghost Line!
Savitar then tells Reverse Speed Buggy to go back in time and destroy Dr. Blank's lab. And if the reverse beeping wasn't enough, he also talks backwards as well. This understandably gets on Savitar's nerves. That is one annoying partner. Remind me to have it disassembled when it returns, or at least teach it to speak correctly.
Respect his pronouns, you bigot!
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Demon Buggy trapped them by negating the speed force around them, so they can't move. But eventually they break free and give Savitar what's coming to him. And we get another example of the expression of the character not matching the situation right here. Doc, you're revving your tires backwards? I have to if I'm going to go back and correct the mistakes from my own hubris.
If only a certain political candidate could do that.
So both Speed Buggy and Reverse Buggy make it back to the past. And it turns out that Speed Buggy was much faster than Reverse Buggy, to the point of being able to snatch an important component off of Reverse Buggy and making it into the lab before Reverse Buggy, even if Reverse Buggy got a head start. However, I am curious as to why Reverse Buggy didn't shut down immediately after making it to the past, or even along the trip to the past. Unfortunately, Bugster can't reunite with Flash now that Reverse Buggy is dead. This also makes Savitar disappear because the future he created was halted by Speed Buggy's actions. With his new friend gone, Flash goes into another emotional monologue. I don't have to call out. I can tell he's gone. I can feel it. There's no residual speed force here. Even Reverse Buggy is fading away. He won, but he still didn't wait around for a thank you. I hope you know peace, Dr. Blank. Or Speed Buggy, wherever you are. And then Speed Buggy appears in Tinker's garage.
I am Reese. The what?
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
But hey, at least Speed Buggy is in the right universe. We close off our epic crossover with Linda and Wally West jogging through the park and running into the sunset.
But we also get an epilogue.
Speed Buggy and Flash are getting ready for a race around the world. I am not sure how everybody's going to see said race, but whatever. Debbie starts the race, and we end off with one last moving quote. The end of the story, but the start of a beautiful friendship.
Amen. Overall, this comic's awesome.
I remember watching the original Speed Buggy cartoon and genuinely enjoying every moment. And this comic was able to make me interested in the finer bits of minutia of the Flash. While I did find quite a few contrivancies with some of the plot, it didn't ruin the experience of the comic at large. Looking back, I can partially retract what I said about the inclusion of Tinker, Debbie, and Mark, but they do still feel like a last-minute addition to the book. But this whole thing was still an enjoyable read, and I would highly recommend this to fans of both of these properties. So, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and gotta zoom.